Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ready Steady Play.
I finally won a game.
He's been doing it for the day of going deaf and crazy.
Thank you, Spaghetti Monster. Thank you, Cthulhu. Yes.
You betrayed me. I'm sorry.
Wow, cheering for 24 hours is very dizzy.
I'm surprised you're not redder.
I'm actually amazed that you're still able to
you're quite a hue, but I'm surprised you're not my t-shirt.
The makeup department really needs to get up their game.
I have to admit, having an oxygen cylinder underneath your chair was definitely a wise decision. I mean, I thought you were crazy doing it. I was like, what the hell is he doing? He was huffing that thing. It kept you going. It kept you going.
It really did. So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Let's start with Ollie.
Well, I thought the game mechanic was quite fun, where it's not just putting down your people, but I was really worried. You kept sending me to prison and capturing everyone. So I love that mechanic.
So it's a bit of a different take on worker placement in that there are spots that are
Open
communal, open to everybody, and actually have exponentially increasing rewards. There are spots that are just one person only until they're reset, and there are spots that are filled up and never ever exchanged. So it's quite cool how they've got the different kinds of placements.
Like Stone Age does that as well. Stone Age has these big open spaces and then the single space as well, which reset each round.
But it was quite.
But does it have the locked-in spaces?
No, I don't think so.
It was
there you go, one more type of space than Stone Age.
It was good because it made you second guess when you're stacking that many people there, because as I found out very early on in the game, my people kept being the subject of kidnaps. I don't know if it's because they were the red shirts or if it's because you guys just disliked them.
It's interesting to see how many. I think it was 3 or 4 was the point at which we people started capturing groups, which surprised me. I thought we'd allow each other to get bigger groups.
I'm, in retrospect, not that surprised, but yeah, I was amazed by the end of it. I managed to have this many people there.
It became a lot less valuable to take them at the end. The only reason I did it was I was building up for 18 money.
There is a strategy to just go like money and just earn money the whole game, and by the end of the game have like 200, 300 coins, and just earn a lot of points that way.
You'd earn as much as if you built the cathedral.
For 200 coins,
the same amount.
So I mean, even that, that's not an obscene amount of points.
It's not an obscene amount, but it's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot, but it's not a. We've played games like this in the past,
but
it's very easy to get a lead.
But the way the thing about the cathedrals, it costs you resources.
Yeah.
But the thing about earning money is the best way to do it is capturing other people's peons. So while I'm earning those points, I'm also sabotaging your efforts.
True.
And so it's like that little subtle sort of mechanic. Is a really nuanced way of balancing things out. Because if I want to earn money by capturing people, I'm beholden to you guys to actually fill up spaces.
Yeah.
Then I have to do 2 actions, one to capture the person, where I pay a coin to do that, and then another action to go and sell them. So I have to do 2 actions and pay a coin, and I can't always do it, but then I get return on that. Whereas to build on the cathedral, you have to give up a building card, and you have to give up a meeple for the whole game, and you have to pay a resource.
Yeah.
And you won't get the points until you escalate up the track, and you might not get there because you might be blocked.
I never found locking up meeples a problem, because you've so many of them. I wasted 1 turn at the very end where I had nothing constructive to do anyway.
But I was doing a lot of capturing and selling because of my player ability. I think that there are games where that happens less.
Sure. That's true.
I mean, I didn't have much use for it except as almost a revenge tactic to stop me from being the person with the most people in prison. Really, that was the main motivation I had to doing it, which is why I never scored a lot of money from it.
There's nothing wrong with capturing meeples out of a sense of spite.
Never. Spite, yeah.
Keeps me going. It keeps me warm at night. I thank you, spite.
That's why you're so virtuous.
Yes. Hey, there is no one so spiteful as the virtuous.
That is true. Very true.
Prove me wrong. No, I really liked the worker placement aspect of it. Everything felt like it had a purpose. There was never a time I was putting someone down going, I'm just wasting a turn. I always felt like I was trying to accomplish something. I mean, I had a lot of building cards that I was working towards, and partly that's because I didn't have to discard them to build on the cathedral, so I just kept them. And there was a few that I was trying to make a combo of, but the mistake I made was with the apprentices I picked the trading ones as opposed to the generate ones, which I think hindered me a little bit because you managed to just run away with that. That was amazing.
My resource building was
Your resource
very,
economy
very
was
good.
amazing.
It was super good.
Scary.
I think that obviously one of the things I really like about this game, having played it a few times now, is that it's I'm always surprised by, for example, the Eurogamer in me is like, get the woodcutters, go in on wood, because I have these wood buildings. And, that kind of works out, because the carpenter's hut combos with the woodcutters, and the wood market combos with the woodcutters. There were 2 on the board at the start. I'm like, this has all worked out great. So I'll sort that out first. But what's really great is actually that you have 2 buildings and 2 apprentices, and you won.
I had a third apprentice at one point who I used to his complete...
to build the graveyard. He moided.
Yeah, because he got me benefits for the cathedral, so I was maxed out by the time I discovered him. Yeah, I was really... I said that during live play, that I was... it would have really frustrated me if... just because you played before and you were so adamant that these guys were important.
Oh, I wasn't...
It would have frustrated me if it turned out that they were necessary.
Well, I wouldn't have... If you challenged me, I wouldn't have committed to say they were necessary for winning. But I also am conscious that I think they're really important, and I don't want you to have a bad time. I don't want to be like, don't worry about them.
I thought that was quite a good combo that I managed to pick up between them.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was just, I'm just generating
so
my virtue.
Yeah. So what Ollie's got here is a merchant that when he goes to the King's Storehouse, he can pay a coin for 3 brick.
He did
and
so
then
many times.
the patron, another action at the King's Storehouse, lets him sell a brick for virtue. So
that saved me from being screwed over.
So
quite
that's
a few times.
why he's got, and that would have comboed really well with the observer that I grabbed, who I didn't even use.
Yeah, that's I was after.
Who gives you you count as having an extra meeple at the King's Storehouse.
Awesome.
But I needed him to build the moneylender.
But I was after him for 2 reasons. I wanted his symbol at the top, and I wanted his ability, because that would have just I would have just gone instantly virtuous.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I stopped that from happening.
I think I got a little lucky. In how I ended up being super, super efficient. Insofar as I've got 1 resource left over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All my workers were gone by the end, apart from the one I took back. I have 3 debt tokens, all of which I paid off. I only had 2 buildings. I got the benefits from the buildings.
But I kind of compensated for all of these resources in a way, because I had the swindler to help me get brick, but I also had the trading post, which gives me virtue for sets of useless resources at the end, so they have a point.
Sure, yeah.
So I was like,
But look how inefficient this was. You got so much crap.
No, these got me 2 virtue at the end. That's the difference between... That's 4 points.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's not a very efficient way of getting 2 points, is it?
No, I kind of...
I would point out we had the same score, Mr.
No, I know. And something I want to point out is that black market reset we forgot, and then luckily we're able to fix. If we had followed through with forgetting that, you'd have won.
Yep.
Because you lost a virtue. My experience with this game was really funny. I was really excited to play it because I'd heard good things about it, and it looked good, and I loved the artwork is fantastic. The aesthetic is beautiful. I enjoy worker placement. It reminds me of Stone Age a little bit with the worker placement, the way the board looks, the aesthetic of it, plus the resources, which is a game I really like. And then when we started playing, I was like, yes, cool, it's fun. And then when I realized early on I'd made a horrible mistake, it wasn't the game's fault, it was my fault. Maybe I guess it turns out I was wrong because I won, but I felt like I'd messed up horribly. I was super inefficient. And I went to a stage where I was like, okay, I can't win this anymore. This has stopped being fun for me now. I'm going to have to mentally readjust so I can enjoy the game, which I did. A more childish version of me maybe a year or 2 ago would have just been like... so I just readjusted and just started to enjoy myself on a different level. And then somehow won.
But that was something, and that's interesting, because that was something I said to you at the start of the game, which was that I think you do need to be... quite flexible about your strategy in this. Yeah. You know, if you get too tunnel vision down one strategy and you don't sort of coming down here, picking up some more buildings, going here, hunting for a building, being willing to swap apprentices in and out, keeping that flexibility open will allow you to, come back in and do better. And it will mean that you're less vulnerable to people coming and capturing your workers.
Well, I was flexible to my philosophical approach to the game almost. Because then once I mellowed all that out, I then got to a position where I was like, oh, okay, I can now do stuff constructive again. And then at the very end, I was like, oh, I can actually be competitive again. So, because I ran through a really bad sequence, but not only had I put myself in a hole, I then had a moment where you captured me in 5 turns, you captured me 3 times. I kept getting caught. That time where I released my guys, and then you both did it, and I ended up basically having wasted a turn. I was still things seemed just snowball against me for a period of like maybe 3 cycles,
Yeah.
3 rounds. Everything just seemed to go against me to the point that I was like, okay, not only have I screwed myself over, they have now inadvertently screwed me over further, and now I'm just in a pit of misery and despair.
Also known as prison.
but it's great that the. It's I think it stands to reason. Not stands to reason. It stands. It's
Testament to the game.
Testament to the game. Yeah, that I was able to go into. That I was able to feel I'd ruined the game for myself so much and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think
Because truly, I'm surprised I won. I thought I was going to lose horribly, and I was still enjoying it despite thinking I wasn't being joking. I thought I was basically a glorified dummy player at one point, and I was still enjoying it. I mean, yes, if you were a certain type of player, might just get angry about it and not enjoy it. But as long as you're not a table flipper, you will enjoy this game even if you do horribly.
But I think it challenges. But I think what's really interesting is it actually. I think you can, especially the first time you've played this, if you are a hobby gamer like we are, and you're really used to Euros, I think this actually challenges a lot of Euro sensibilities, because it's like you can't optimize everything perfectly.
No.
You know, because of the way placing the people are, because they're always in threat of being captured.
Yeah.
You know, because you're really are at the mercy to an extent of everyone going somewhere and doing something, or taking the money you were hoping to get, or stealing your spot in the black market, or God forbid they take all the Guildhall spots and you realize you haven't started building yet and it's almost the end of the game.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always something that and so what it basically has done, which I love about this game, is it's really injected a lot of, like, a deceptively large amount of player interaction into what is essentially a worker placement game. And I think we're used to our worker placement games being very sort of methodical, processable,
And the only interaction
strategizable.
is blocking spaces.
And even then you can kind of get past it a turn later.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually not a big deal. Whereas in this, it's like, we'll take that, we'll make it a really big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that.
I can't decide if I like it's funny, I hate, so one thing I hate about worker placement games, even though I love them so much, is the fact there's usually so little player interaction. Like Anachrony, for example, and to carry on to a lesser extent, I remember thinking, these are fantastic worker placement games, I just wish there was a bit more player interaction. So, despite the fact I'm crying out for it, I always have been, I can't decide if I like the capturing.
See, that was the thing I really liked about it, because in some games that we've played with worker placement, it's so easy to have a situation where I can't do anything constructive because you're in the way.
So you're going to get them out of the way.
Yes, but the only time you can really do that in this is in the black market, and even then, you know.
But you can't. But people here don't get in your way.
No,
and you can't get rid of people in the black market via the town centre.
No, but with the black market is the only place where people can get in your way, but it flips over very quickly, and because.
But what's the necessity of the capturing mechanic?
Well, because it interrupts their combination. So if I've got this many people in the forest, I'm clearly after wood. Mm-hmm. So you can go.
I mean, with the exception of the tax stand, literally every capturable spot behooves you to have many people there.
Yeah.
The guardhouse is quite limited returns unless you got a lot of debt tokens. But even so, like, everything rewards you.
No, but I know I just can't decide if I like how direct and how mean that player interaction is, which is it's I suppose the kind of game, because I love war games. I love games that are all about pounding each other into the ground, but so I think this is almost a little too mean for this type of game.
I mean, I actually felt that way at first as well, and what happened was I sort of realized that actually if you were playing a game where you want to be virtuous, if you were playing a game where you want to get to the top here and start discarding these when you get them, can actually it's sort of if you can't take advantage of the tax stand for money, then you're really...
You remember the word then didn't use it.
I thought of a better word while I was trying to remember it.
No, you thought of two better words.
The only way to really get money is at the silversmith, and it's actually much more efficient to capture people and sell them.
Yeah.
So this is actually kind of fundamental to the economy of the game. The other thing is that actually, if people aren't doing it regularly, and I noticed this more in the 2-player version, because in the 2-player version it happens a lot less often.
You can just ignore each other.
You run out of meeples all the time. And then you've got nothing.
Yeah.
In a way, it's actually, if you can kind of So one of the really interesting player decisions is waiting for all your people to go back to the guardhouse so you can send one person to get 20 people. Instead of
you did at one point. You got like a good
I got
12
I got so many people back. Whereas, if you go and collect them in dribs and drabs, like the guardhouse is not a super efficient place to be.
I captured I returned only 3 or 4 at once, if not twice, because with my last meeple. Because I realized if I didn't get them back, I was then going to be super inefficient for next time.
And so you're constantly looking at the black market and trying to gauge if people are going to go there, and then you're looking at this and trying to sort of optimize that. And that's a real a Euro player sensibility, is to wait till everyone's back there. But the game is constantly challenging you to take the risk and push your luck. I really like that, and I think once you accept that this sort of capture sell mechanic is kind of fundamental to the economy of the game, you kind of sort of
it bothers
think
you
around.
less.
It bothers you less. You think around it.
It wouldn't negate me not liking how mean it is.
But
I appreciate that you would think of it differently if you thought about when you understand how integral it is. I do understand.
The thing is, I started to look at it as part of the part and parcel of, oh crap, I've got 2 guys left. How am I going to get any more? Oh, that's great. Mike's just taken 7 of my guys off the board and sold them. Now
now I can have them.
Yeah, and it's in most worker placement games, once they're on the table, they are gone. So
the only good thing about how mean this is
it always gives you a benefit.
Your opponent almost creates a more efficient way of you retrieving your workers. That's true.
I'll tell you what I think is actually a lot more mean, and you wouldn't know this because we didn't do it at all in this game. What's a lot more mean is if you spend your time collecting all my people and you go for a big sell, and right before you do it, I go in here, I take a debt token and a virtue, or I spend 3 coins and I just take them all away from you, and you're like, I needed that money.
Release the hostages.
That's kind of reverse mean though, because all you're doing is you're
freeing your
punishing the other person for trying to be mean to you, which I think
right. But I don't think. But the thing is, I think that it's not. It can't. But how else do you get money? You have to. You have to be mean.
Yeah, but if you're mean to me to try and make money, and I'm like, no, you must now. You took a risk by being mean to me, and now I'm going to pay for that risk.
It's punishing you for too much avarice. Basically, you can go, I've got 5-6 people here. I'm going to get my 6 coins. If I'm going to try and get every person you've got, and you've got 1 guy left, and you've got enough money, of course you're going to take them back.
I don't think it's a bad mechanic.
No, but I
think it's for me personally, not as a universal fact. For me personally, I think it's a little too mean for this type of game. But it wouldn't stop me from buying it because the only thing I think is weird about the rules at all is I'm very surprised that the tiebreaker's not Cathedral.
I understand why, because there's only one place at the top, and
that's why it should be.
It doesn't. But it doesn't move. Whereas most tiebreakers allow you to overtake your opponent. There are ways at the end of the game where you could go, and then I scored this amount of virtue. That's fixed, and if that's the tiebreaker, it can. You race to the top, and then
There's also a lot of really good strategies that don't incorporate the Cathedral.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
And then it would just shut off all those
good strategies that involve being super low on virtue. So
there's a lot of buildings that allow you to just shoot up virtue at the end.
But your excuse for the Cathedral not being is also true of the virtue. Therefore, I don't take it as a point.
Right, but what I mean is there's one way to get up the Cathedral, and that's by building buildings on the Cathedral track. There's many ways to improve your virtue.
That's at that point.
And so the diversity opens the doors to a lot of strategies.
I think that is very true. Where's the box live?
And actually, that's one of the things I really love about this game, is it has so many... it has so many strategies and so many options, and every time I play, I find myself sort of trying out different strategies. And I've not played this game with 2 of the same strategy ever. Every single time I'm playing it differently, and I'm trying different things to get points, and it always seems to work out.
How many times have you played?
So this is 4.
How many times have you won? I have interest.
Never.
Never?
I've never won this.
Leanne told me she won.
She did, yeah.
So I think there's a beginner's luck thing on this, is there?
Possibly, I guess. But when I was a beginner, I didn't win either.
That makes me feel better.
Mike, did you, after having played Resident Evil on the channel quite recently, would you like to rant about this box a little bit? Because I agree with everything you're about to say, but
Oh, I love this box.
What's in the box?
Yeah, rant positively.
This box is incredible.
Rant positively.
Do you know why this box is incredible? Look at all this game, and it's so great, and it's so good. And this box is small. It's so
compact.
small.
My reaction when I
and
came
the
in,
cardboard is thick.
I thought it was a Ticket to Ride style box from all the pictures I'd see online. You know, like a normal size Ticket. You know, Manchester Madness Clank,
Yeah.
Dominion size box. All those normal, just the average size box. I
it's
couldn't
thunk.
believe it.
Thunk.
I could
Do you know
not
what's
believe
crazy?
it. And
This
it's the
actually
absolute
even
antithesis
has-
to Resident Evil.
It even has some inlay in it, so you could even take that out and put more stuff in this
So when
box.
if you get the expansion, you could even
Fit it into
possibly
one
fit it
box.
in there.
Or if they decide to make like a tax sand promo like they did for the guardhouse, you could fit that in there too. So yes, amazing box. I love it. Yes, more of this, please, people. I understand you have to sell games in bigger boxes. Sell games better.
It's so good.
But, you know, it's I will
storage.
evangelize your game. If you put it in a box like this, I will tell people that that's great.
Mike, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
Really, really deep, diverse strategy game. And that was one of the other things I wanted to say, was that I think this is actually really quite teachable.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to teach. It doesn't take long to grab, but it's really deep. Like,
Yeah.
I could play this back to back 3 or 4 games and not get bored. And yet, it's not like I have to spend 4 or 5 hours teaching someone. Yeah. In fact, I've set this up with people where we've just started playing, you know, and by halfway through the game, they're developing strategies. They're off flying on their own, and I don't even have to like sort of sit out the game and try and like let them win.
Yeah.
You know, I've played like full competitive strategic games straight out of the box with new players, even after I played a few games.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and we just did it the same. You never played before. I just taught you how to play, and you beat me.
Yep. Well, Ronnie told me.
High five.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this is a smash hit on almost based on every level. I think it's a great game, as I said, deep, diverse, easy to teach, fantastic components, and very pretty looking. Small box, great. Lot of game, small box.
I love the tongue-in-cheek art.
fantastic
It's really cute. I would point out that these don't come with the game. Those are special. You get cards like this.
There you have it.
Well done. Well, they're the same size. And my only complaint, literally my only complaint, was the card stock on these player boards was, I didn't think,
Lacking.
completely superb.
I can't find it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
And my only complaint is not even a complaint; it's a personal dislike that I think it's a bit mean. That one mechanic's a bit mean for the type of game it is. But I trust you when you say what's funny.
Well, no, it's because you pointed out earlier. It's like, I want player interaction in my Euros.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
interaction's too mean.
I know. But I
Be
trust
careful
you.
what you wish for.
I trust you when you say that maybe with a couple of extra players, or you implied that with a couple of extra players, I might think that less.
I do think it is sort of an acclimatization thing. Because we're so not used to it.
Well, quite. And I keep saying I want it, but I wasn't used to it. I wasn't ready for it, maybe. But yeah, great game. Fantastic.
You want more player interaction? You can't handle more player interaction.
That's so true.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, let's. I think. And replayability. Decks
Yeah.
of cards, great.
Yep.
These are a bit random.
As you already said, you
And
can play 3 or 4
variable
times
player
back to back.
powers.
Yeah. We had loads
So
of we
good.
didn't even... I mean, we flicked through randomly to pick one. And what was there, another 6 or...
So what? Of what?
Another 6 player boards?
Oh, well, only in the Kickstarter. 5 player boards. 10 with the
that's
Kickstarter.
The one negative. They've got actual content, actual in-game content that's Kickstarter exclusive. I hate it. Stop doing it. You're evil.
I would point out actually that we don't know. We would have to look it up because it might be Kickstarter promos that you can like order from the website.
In that case, you're not evil, but still stop doing it.
If it's Kickstarter exclusive, Chris isn't on board. If it's purchasable somehow, then it's okay.
If it's purchasable somehow, I don't like it, but it's okay. If it's upgraded components and stuff for Kickstarter, have at it. Go for it. Don't care. It's cool. If it affects gameplay, I hate it.
It's a very easy rule to abide by.
Yeah, I think most people agree with that.
Yeah, no, it's... I can see why they do it, but it's at the same point.
I understand why
they
do it,
could
but-
sell it as an upgrade pack. As, here's the main game, and if you want more replayability, here's 5 extra guys.
Yeah.
So if you want those other playboards, check out the Car Hill website, and if you can't buy them on the website, send them an email. But we love this game, and so we do recommend it.
Unanimously, yeah.
You'll have fun playing. And losing.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Think about subscribing if you haven't yet.
You'll be sad if you don't.
Yeah.
I will be.
Look sadder.
Tomorrow we'll be playing something different.
Come on an adventure with us tomorrow on Race.
Bye.
Excellent.